Hello and welcome to the Temple of Tomes with your host, Indie Comics Jones. Today is December 24th, 2020, and this is episode 163. I hope I got that right. We're looking at Homesick Pilots today. This is issue 1 from Image, and it's a $3.99 price on it. We take a quick look at the cover. It's got this kind of pyramid type thing going on. Everything's kind of very symmetrical with the palm trees and the woman's hairdo and her shoulder length and the shrubs, the skull shrubbery outside of this pointy little haunted house. So let's take a look to see who worked on this one. The writer is Dan Waters. I couldn't find out a lot about him other than he's from England and he's written over 100 comics. And Caspar Wingard is the artist. Okay, I just want to say this is a recommend with a little bit of warning disclaimers on it. I did enjoy the story, okay, but there's just some things in here that I didn't really care for, and I'll go over them, obviously. Okay, first of all, looks like it takes place on the shoreline of perhaps California, since we have palm trees and we've got the pier with the Ferris wheel. That could be a couple places in California. And then we take a look in this neighborhood, and we're going back to 1994, and they've got it as Santa Manos, which could be Santa Monica, but it is what it is. So we'll figure this out as we go along. I think this is obviously a fictitious village. Okay, so we're talking about 26 years ago. This is all happening, and so this is a few weeks before the main incidents, or a few weeks after the main incidents happened, and some kind of big gigantic spirit goes through this town and kind of rips it up, and seems to be controlled by this girl named Amida. And you can call her Amida. Ami is she's called in here as well. So then there's this quick flashback to a few weeks before, and she's at a concert watching the Nuclear Bastards, and she puts a little extra F word on there. So here we go. Here's the group. The last Nuclear Bastard show a few weeks earlier. And this is Robbie, this is Meg. They don't really go into the rest of the band here. And this is another band here as well. We've got, I know it's Buzz, that's Ami, and I can't think of his name off the top of my head. I think it's Rig. And they're in a deserted bowling alley, or I should say a bowling alley that's out of business. And there's this big like punk rock show going on, which is kind of funny for 1994. I think it was more of a grunge scene during that time. So they're kind of making fun of the band, saying they suck. They should be better than that. In fact, because they're playing in an abandoned bowling alley, it's a cool place, and they're not good enough to be holding this thing in here. And they're just kind of this jibber jabber back and forth. Now, I just want to say the dialogue on here is not very good in my opinion. It's the guy that's writing it, he's pretty young. I think he is probably around 30. So he wasn't really alive to see this kind of scene back then. He wasn't old enough to really realize what was going on. Maybe he was. Maybe he's older than I think, but the pictures look like he's about 30 or so. And then we get the Image trope, which I hate this. Tiny dialogue on narration on this backing black. So this counts as a page, fans, and they do it a couple times in this book. It's something Image does that I can't stand because it's so hard to read this as it is, especially if the printing is not very good. So basically, they're kind of criticizing this band in the bowling alley, and they come up with this idea: what would be cooler than an abandoned bowling alley? They said, well, what if we held a concert in a haunted house? Suddenly the police break in, and this really annoying dialogue takes place between the police and the kids trying to get away. And Amida just tells them, I'm taking off. I want to go check out that haunted house up on the hill there. That'd be a great place. And then they talk about the tale of a kid that went in there. He was missing for so long. He finally made his way out, and he died of starvation, basically. And apparently, he said he was wandering around in there. He couldn't find his way out. And they found claw marks right by the front door. Not on the front door, but by the front door, just trying to claw his way out. But he did not make it. Then they are kind of hassled by the rival group that they were watching, the nuclear bastards, and Meg and Robbie. I don't know what these two are, but they're just kind of hanging out. And so there's a little pushing and shoving going on between Rig and Robbie, and Meg, his girlfriend, kind of breaks it up, pulls Robbie off, and boy, I want to say her name was Amida, but maybe it was Sonia. I don't know. But anyway, she steps in. Of course, nothing happens at that point because that'd been ridiculous if she tried starting to fight him. So she wanders off by herself. She goes, I'm going to check out that haunted house, see what it's like. And we get one of these, another page, again, that I love. Thanks, Image. Okay, so she climbs the fence, goes into the house. The door just opens for her. And something starts happening in the house. She feels she's not alone, and then we go to the next day. Her two friends are looking for her. They find her skateboard at this house, and they push on the door. They can't get in it. And so they climb up and go through the top here looking for Amida. In the meantime, the rival band is following them just to hassle them. Plus, I guess one of the guys on the band sells pot, so they want to score some pot off of him. So they climb through the kitchen windows. So it's this kind of thing going on, which I thought was pretty clever. It was a little bit hard to understand, but they do come together and meet up in the middle here. And he says, hey, I want some pot. And he says, okay, I'll give you some. And then the guy pulls a knife on him. Robbie from the band pulls a knife on him. He says, no, I'm not going to pay for it. You don't understand. You're going to give it to me. And he stabs Rig right in the shoulder. And says, come on, give me the pot. And suddenly the house steps up and attacks Robbie and looks like shoots all kinds of jagged pipes through him. His friend comes to assist him, and he gets strangled enough where his head pops off. And the Rig, Meg, and can't think what his name is now. Sorry. But they freak out and start running out of the place, only to find that the front door has, in fact, disappeared. And Rig starts getting pulled into the floor. And so, kind of mysteriously, and his friend is able to pull him out. And then you start seeing the doors go sideways. This is when it got kind of cool. I started really enjoying it here. I was really hating the dialogue, but then this story took a different turn, got a little more exciting. This door opens and some kind of weird blood comes out, and then the front doors open. They're able to stumble out, and it turns out that their friend Amida was able to help them. And we get another of these pages. It's so stupid. It's almost like having an ad, but it's almost as annoying as an ad. At least it has something to do with the story. So then we go across town. I'm assuming this is like Hollywood somewhere. This girl talks about how she has this lucky horseshoe, and it's acting up. And you can see in the other room things are kind of floating. And it's kind of funny because she mentions, yeah, I bought it at this beach city right outside Hollywood. Well, there's no real beach cities right next to Hollywood if you've been to California. It's up in the hills, and then there's a few cities in between before you get to the beach. But I just think this guy maybe has never been to L.A. And so there's her boyfriend going, what's going on? Everything's floating. They're going to find out. They're going to go talk to something. In the meantime, Amida does show up, and her hair is now white, and she's just wondering what the heck happened, but she knows that there's something going on with that house, and she wants to explore it further. So it's continued. That's the end of it. Here's the cover for the next issue. I know I'm kind of rambling here, but yeah, it's I enjoyed the underlying story, but I didn't really care too much for the dialogue. And we had also the bisexual coloring all the way through. That was kind of annoying as well. The art is okay. I thought that was capable and interesting enough. But yeah, the dialogue needs work. It's like, needs a dialogue coach. But the underlying story is interesting enough. I will stick around for another issue. So it is a recommend at this point, even though I do have a lot of warning signs on it. Anyway, I think the guy might be a fan of Stone Temple Pilots, because he's using Homesick Pilots instead as this group here, but still not bad. Okay, so thank you for stopping by and listening to me ramble on about issue 1 of Homesick Pirates. Please like, please subscribe, please leave comments, and I'll come back with more reviews in the future, in the very near future. I think I got another one I picked up this week to do, so at least one more. Hopefully, maybe on Christmas Day, it'll be my Christmas present to you. This is Indie Comics Jones from the Temple of Tomes bidding you adieu.